Yeah, I'm with you. What do you need?
No, I'm chilling. We got half-life, I'll take that. Get to me, dude. Like, we need to be in the same box. I'm dropping low. I'm with you. I need mats.
Dude, I'm in like, there's like 5 people right here, dude.
I need mats. There's 6. I'm not able to grab myself.
The thing is, it started so well. This season, the first match that we got 4th place. We had like 18 eliminations in the 2 games that we played, which put us like to the top. We were ranked 4th among all the colleges that are in the season with us, and it was going so well from there. The next match we got 10th place. We started doing really well there. We had great communication. We were a little nervous. Well, we were pretty nervous actually. It was our first time playing competitive Fortnite, but we got used to it, and so did everybody else. So as the season went on, people started getting less nervous, and it was more of a flow for them, and we realized like, oh, like these guys are really good, and we had some really good competition. So we had to put even more time in to be able to compete, and even that, these people were going above and beyond. But me and Liam have like a pretty good relationship, so we get along pretty well. I say we click. So we have some really great communication when we're playing together, which honestly keeps us alive half the time, which works pretty well. We stay alive to the very end of the games almost every single time. We get a few eliminations here and there. Now we're not doing so hot. Period. So I feel like what we're lacking is time. I think we're not putting enough time into the game. The game's making constant changes. So if you don't keep up with the meta, then you fall behind. And if you fall behind, then you're not going to be at the top of your game the next time you jump in comp. So with being a student, obviously, student comes first. Sometimes we don't have all the time to practice and stay at the top of our game with the meta. And I think some other people might have that time that we don't have, and they might be able to put more time in than we can. What we're gonna have to do is play. We're gonna have to play. We're gonna have to practice communicating. There's tournaments that we can join in online for free, and some you can put in money. There's a prize pool. We can join these tournaments and we can practice the communication. Some of the people that we play against could even be better than the college students that we play against just at the university. So if we get all that practice in over the summer and we keep doing that and we keep grinding, keep communicating well and positioning, practice aim, obviously game basics, game mechanics is 100% the best thing you can be at, but communication is also key, 100% in duos. So we practice that and we keep going. I think we could be top of the game next season. I'm gonna say I'm excited for next year's season. I feel like going in, we're gonna be less anxious, less nervous, and we'll be able to dominate 100%.
Oh my god. Push again, I'm ready. I'm recovered.
Okay, I'm about to mute. Free.
I need help though.
Oh my god.
See him? Beat him. Open.
Oh my god. I was lucky. Yeah, got their boost. Can you? Nice.
Coming off the foot of last year into this fall season, it was a big improvement right off the start. Obviously our team was just stronger than it was before, and the performances showed that. And we had some very strong performances against teams that we struggled against last year, and we beat many of those teams, and we came out as one of the top dogs, in our conference. And so that was really nice. That was really fun to be a part of. Coming into the spring, it was a little bit more rough. We came in a little rusty. It seemed like, a couple of us just weren't really up to it. And we struggled against those same teams that we had really just handed it to them in the fall. We started struggling against in the spring. Well, Gleck in the fall felt really good. Gleck in the fall just felt weak compared to where we were at. We were going into it, we felt like the top dog. And then, like in the spring, it was a whole other thing. It was a lot harder. I just don't think we were quick enough. Especially this spring season, seeing how the other teams improved, seeing where they were, coming from in their strengths. We were just getting beats at everything. And I think a lot of that is just mentality. We went into it thinking that we could beat every team and thinking that we could try and control the game. And they just went out and, they started, as we call it, ball chasing. But to that effect, it just worked against us. And we had no real way to try and counter that with, nothing that we tried really worked against it. Every team was able to pretty much dismantle us just by beating us to everything. I feel like that was really our biggest weakness, was just trying to be quick and, really wanting it. In the fall, we were anything but slow. We were beating every team to it. It just felt like no team could match us. Like we could play any team at their own game and we would beat them. We went in with that kind of confidence. And against every team but the biggest of teams, it worked. I'd say the biggest thing going forward is that we've already had a very good season and we've already had a season that is pretty poor in comparison. So going forward now, it's all about how we react. It's all about how we move forward going into it. Are we going to let that one bad season affect us, or are we going to try and return to the heights of that good season? And it should be pretty exciting. It should be fun to watch. And it's up to us now to make sure that we do go in that right direction.
Why not even look at them? Listen.
It would have been a great flash.
He had
Yeah, he has plans.
I try to predict it.
It's the biggest brain play, but the guy's so stupid.
Whatever.
Coming into this year, I guess I had started with the start of the esports program last year, and we had a pretty ragtag team pretty much. We threw it together and kind of were going on the fly with a lot of the roles and things like that. So coming into this year, when we have 4 people coming in, some better players coming in as well, some roster switch ups, it was a little bit rocky getting started. I'll admit we had a tough time getting going, just trying to figure out the team and everything and try to swap the roster around and figure out what we're comfortable with. But once we got going, it was really neat to see the sort of advancements that we had made as a team and as a group. We hadn't really done a whole lot before it, but we started winning some series, having some really tight and close games. I guess one of the highest points would be our series against, I want to say, Tiffin University, where we went into it, we knew we were going up against a strong opponent. They have a really talented top laner, a couple of really good players, and went into that series knowing that we could take them. And I think that was one of the first times where I thought we were really confident in a series, and we ended up coming away with a really tight win, 2-1 on the series. Really great set of matches, but that was one of our first big series wins that we ever had, and that was a really good moment for us as a team to kind of understand that, hey, we can win stuff, and we've come a long way from what we were. So that sort of growth was really cool to watch and see. One of the most improved players I thought was actually my lane partner, Aubrey. Especially last year, she came in, was our mid laner, and then going into this year, we lost our support, so we asked her to switch over to a different role. And just the improvement that she showed, being willing to swap over into that different role, learn that role, and play it really well. One of the most consistent players on our team, I thought. So that improvement out of her was really cool to see.
It was kind of a change because mid's more of like a carry role. Like you have to have more of an influence, I would say, like throughout the whole game, because you're in the middle of the lane, you're in the middle of the map, everything goes on in mid lane. Compared to support, where it's more of, getting vision control, so making making an impact all over the map. It feels really good to just have a game with no issues. Some of the greatest moments were just when games are like very like back and forth. You don't know who's gonna win, and then like some big play happens. Like there were a couple games where one of them, our mid laner Bryce, got a whole pentakill. Like in the fountain, everyone helped him out and get it, which is huge to get a pentakill in league. And another one was Ephraim, our top laner, had this whole backdoor moment. This game was like so close, and he just clutched to the very end. He went behind, backdoor, got the Nexus, and we won. Everyone was like, didn't even know what was going on. Half our team didn't even know that he was doing it. He just made just that lead call to go and do it, and he won the game for us.
Hard engaged by the Malphite. He gets onto the Nico, who uses the R, dodges the Seraphine ult. If she can get her R off, she gets a big shield, but instead she flashes out. Gets a return kill on Malphite. Cassiopeia in the back doing DPS. Oh, he dodges the Cassiopeia R though. He's walking out of there. Big Meeks.
Big Meeks could four-shot this cast and possibly go around. Oh, going for the ult though, that's a good play.
Yes.
Possibly, if he gets one more, good try. This is a good try. But yeah, the Leona ult actually didn't hit anyone in that fight. I'm not sure if you picked that up, but it was unfortunate to see.
TP by Gangplank into the enemy team. They're gonna end the game right here.
Yeah, they can end the game. He needs to stop it back.
He needs to get in there.
Big Meat, sacrifice yourself, man. You got this.
Get
Run it down. Okay,
yep.
Good job.
Just run it down. Completely run it down.
And I'm pretty sure that's game. I don't think they can get back in time. If they do see team, he's got oranges, and that's just second game for Manchester. Very good play. Very good play.
The macro play in a tight final game.
I was honored to be chosen as captain this year. I was glad that the guys trusted me and put me in that position. I think looking forward to next year, if I get chosen again, I would just love just to be a good role model and tell people to keep people to have good, positive attitudes.
So, development of the team, I'm going to go back to our very first semester this year at Manchester. The league was a little bit different. The entire team was involved. We had like over 15 people at the time. So we split, we joined the league and we had 3 different teams. We had Manchester Gold, which is the A team that consisted of myself, James, Colin, Mason, and Dakota. And then we had Manchester White and Manchester Black, which were the other 2 teams. And that league went poorly. that league went terribly. This semester, when Og joined the team, development just like exponentially went through the roof. The league was completely different. It's still the same crew battle format that we used, but we had a team of we just had 8 of our best players all go to the tournament on one night instead of having everybody compete. So we had our comp team and our non-comp team. And just watching the development of the players on, specifically the comp team, has been just incredible. I remember my first, August, our best player, one of them at least. If I were to play him right now, I'd have to play perfect. That's just how much better August has gotten. You literally have to play perfect or you just die.
They're definitely both at
Yeah, these are both very high level players we're looking at right now. Yeah, August goes for that power geyser.
Oh,
Lucas
I thought he was gonna be able to punish right
yeah,
there. That scared me.
Yeah, that end lag of that upbeat from Lucas did leave him wide open.
Lucas just cannot get any damage out right now.
Whoa, power geyser
Whoa!
for Terry, going for that kill. Very nice.
You can see August right now, very excited.
With James and Dakota, They both found characters that they like to play. Dakota's playing the game again, and Dakota was already very good, and now he's playing Joker and Greninja, and since he's playing the game regularly again, he's right back into it. James is already he and Mason were those guys that they were new to the team, and I saw something in them, and I'm so glad that I picked them to be on the comp team, because James, during our winter quarantine when we went home for Thanksgiving, he picked up Steve because Steve had just released, and anybody watching this will know he's our secret weapon.
Up iron materials.
And the powered one uses up redstone too. Which
Again, part of our trifecta of freshmen that are absolutely cracked at the game. So James's development as a player has his knowledge of setups, and again, his neutral and pointing out his habits and correcting those habits mid-match and keeping those setups in mind as well with Steve, really incredible. I think one of my favorite things to see in the comp team was Mason's development. Mason's our Yoshi player. And one big problem that Mason had was his mentality. Mason is super duper momentum based, and so when somebody kills his momentum, he just gives up and he doesn't want to play anymore. And so watching his mentality develop when he knows that, maybe I'm playing a losing matchup, or maybe this guy has my number, and just watching him slowly steel himself, especially in that match against the Youngling, which might have been one of my favorite moments of the season, was watching him, if you look at the player cam, when he lost that first stock, he's playing and he just, he shakes it off real good. And then he made that incredible reversal at that tournament. And I think that was definitely one of the key points in winning that match. So that week leading up to the first match with Trine, which unfortunately we had to reschedule, the week leading up to that was probably, at least for me, the most anxiety-filled week for esports. Because we just had our sweep through the regular season, and then we had gotten into grand finals in our rematch against Mount Vernon. And so Trine was the only thing left. He was the only thing in our way after they swept through their league. That week leading up to it was almost like a normal practice, except we had our previous team captain, Josh Tribble, come in a couple days of the week. So we had our normal practice on Monday, because we have to split our practices because the team is almost 20 freaking people. And because of COVID, we have to split them. So Monday, one half comes in, Tuesday, another half comes in, and then Wednesday, Thursday were special comp team practices. So the top 8 players of our team, including myself, and Josh Tribble came in, and it was just grind day. That was the first really hard grind session that the team had. And shout outs to Tribble for coming down those days to help. So flash forward to Thursday, it's game day. I was a nervous wreck leading up to that night. And another thing that had me really nervous were the internet problems that we've been facing that week. The Wi-Fi was fine, the Ethernet was not, which according to the rules of the GLEC league that we were in, we had to have a wired connection or else we weren't allowed to play. And so that was another thing that I was really nervous about, but whatever. I was told that it would be fixed, so I was trying to just get that thought out of my mind before the tournament that night. And so we get in there. Tribble's there. We're in a different room. We're in the Chinworth Center instead of our normal lab like we usually are. And we have this huge setup. It looks great. And eventually Judgment Day comes and it's time to play. And so we're wondering who we're going to send in first. And we decide to send in Levi, our Marth player. Levi's incredible, by the way. And we get in there and they have this Kirby player. Now, the Kirby player, our first time we played against Trine, they played the blue Kirby. And they either weren't that good or they didn't seem familiar with whatever matchup they were doing, because it wasn't close. Whoever played them, I think it was James, I can't quite remember. Whoever played that Kirby, it wasn't really that close. This Kirby destroys Levi in like a minute and a half. It's just a solid restock. And so we're like, you know what, that's fine, but we're shook. Admit it, you were shook. I was shook at least. And so we're like, okay, well, okay. let's do that thing we did at Mount Vernon. Let's reevaluate. And so we send in August. And then the internet problems start. August gets in, first stock goes down. I can't remember who took the first stock, internet problem. So we remake the lobby and we go back in and we play for a minute. Internet goes down, crash. So Trine makes the lobby. And the same thing happens like 1 or 2 more times. And everybody's just like, this is the championship. We can't play like this. And so our director, Garrett, made the reluctant call, and he called Trine's director, and they agreed to reschedule the championship match. And so we rescheduled, and we were like, okay, well, let's just do the same thing we've been doing. Let's just grind. And that's what it was up until the tournament. Trine agreed to, or tournament part 2, I guess. So Trine graciously agreed to bring their whole team down to Manchester, which was incredibly generous of them, to have the tournament offline. And so Trevor put together the whole setup in the Joe Young Switzer Center, and it really felt like Frostbite. Even though, you know, there weren't nearly as many people here, the venue wasn't nearly as big, it really brought me and probably everyone else on the team back to Frostbite. So the fact that we were able to put that together in such a way is also incredible. Now, the match. So if we remember, when we had rescheduled, we were down 3 stocks. Manchester was down 3 stocks against Trine. And we were unsure whether or not we wanted to start at a disadvantage or just hard reset. And so we had to get a hold of the GLEC, of the council at the GLEC, of the rules committee, excuse me. And so Garrett got a hold of them, and it was like night before, night of, Garrett tells us, okay, so they're holding an emergency meeting so we can get a ruling on this. And the rules committee ultimately decided that Manchester would start at a 3-stock disadvantage. So instead of starting 9 stocks to 9, Manchester would be starting at 6 stocks. And so we were already at a disadvantage. But we'd be starting with whatever players they were at as well. So we didn't have to go through the problem of, oh, who are we going to start with? Where are bands? It would start August versus that Kirby player. And August Offline is a completely different beast from August Online. And we won that first game. So winning that first game at a 3-stock disadvantage, whew, that's a highlight. That's easily a highlight of the tournament. And then, you know, go back and watch the VOD. It was just back and forth the whole night. And we did not think it would go to a game 5, but I truly believe that there's no other way it could have ended. Trine is an incredibly talented team. I think everybody on that team is so incredibly good at the game, and they definitely earned their place in that championship. But I got to give it up to Manchester because we won. we won the whole thing. Last stock, last hit. No other way it could have ended, but with that Manchester dub.
Oh, yes! 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 Yes!
Let's go, bro. Oh, chicken wrap perfectly wrapped up. You go throw that away.
I'm sad. I couldn't even see it on my trash can. I don't understand. It's not in there, I don't think.
Okay, so you left a chicken wrap in the esports room.
No, I don't even know that much.
And
So it's just
it's
somewhere.
growing mold.
Somewhere.
And somewhere. And we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
I'm gonna go check my room again.
Yeah.
Alright, good luck.
You're another breed, James. That's why you play Steve.
Tell us if you find it.